these guys come out, they're just at another level. In this match, we are seeing, for the first half, Siegfried running the show on behalf of Group of Drunks, and Pink Bandit running it for the blue team, T5. We've got Lieutenant versus Lieutenant here in the first half.
Yeah, both captains not able to play tonight.
At least in this half, yeah. Check maybe showing up for the second half, I understand, but or the opposite way, but we'll find out.
And if these classes hold, and I expect them to, at least for this point, we're seeing a Pyro here, which we didn't see in the first round. I think we're looking to see an awful lot of attempts at Reflex.
Yeah, with Dammits in the game for God, definitely going to be a Pyro. He is a fantastic Pyro, and no reason to play him if if you aren't going to want that class, that's for sure. He's great at that class, no need to have him be anything else.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we hear the flamethrower puffing away as the scouts reach point. T5 showing up in a little bit tighter group.
Earns some nice safety right on
4, 3.
Gerardian on the God Medic. Group of Drunks jumps out onto the point. Not quite able to take it. There, they got it.
They had an early man advantage, so T5 started to get respawns though. See Maple Man using the bomb trying to get behind.
That he does, gets all the way back. Not going to be any respawns for him to work on as they're all still alive. Memoria has a full Uber.
His goal, I think, is going to be to try to make them separate a little bit.
Darklino goes down to Stickies. Medic down on both teams. Yeah, if he were to come out here and pick Memoria around now, who's running around with a full Uber not using it, that could be pretty painful.
He does use.
Forced to pop in the face of, I believe, a Kritzkrieg being used against him.
Jesus Affection is out of ammo, attempts to pain train the heavy to death.
And speaking of pain trains, Siegfried pain trains Maple Man. This, of course, a great map. A great map for the use of a pain train. Any King of the Hill map is ideal for pain train usage.
Our control point is being captured.
GOD in control through the early portion of the game. A minute and 20 to go before they can score their first cap if they manage to hold the whole time.
Here comes Maple Man from behind. Lays in some surprises. They go after him. He has to run away as he's being chased by about 4 or 5 members of the Group of Drunks. Group of Drunks pops a full Uber, Memoria and Jim. Maple goes down to bronze. Snidely with the point-blank kill there. Very confused battle going on. People going down on both sides. God with a slight man advantage.
Yep. Very wild in the middle here.
Mission ends in 30 seconds.
30 seconds remaining for Group of Drunks to take the first cap of the round.
We're going to see one last desperate attempt here, but the medics are retreating for T5.
Not able to get to the point in time.
Nope. And look at the scores. Jesus faction really chewing up kills.
Yeah,
There's the
not
focus of the Uber charges there.
not so uneven, except for that JF getting double the points of anybody else on the board. 17 as a demo. That's also the first full control we've seen from first cap to end without a trade-off there. Group of Junks has something working right. T5 going to try and mess that all up. Both teams down 2 as the point becomes available.
Seeing T5 group their medics close together, that's very dangerous.
Sure is with the...
They're a little too dense with how much explosives things.
That's precisely right. Never want to have two medics right next to each other at the front line.
And they back each other out. Their targets were down.
We see God about to take another cap. There they have control of the middle. Some action up high. Didn't see a lot of that last time. Battle on the skywalk between the soldiers. Jumping at each other, trying to get dominance in the air. Jim Beam takes out a sentry gun. See Pink Bandit working with the medic there. KK with the crit screen. Both the time crits and, sorry, not time, the T5 crits and the God Uber didn't get much effect there. Sparky with the different crits comes in as a soldier, clears the point.
2 crits is there on T5 right now.
Sure looks like it. They need to just stand on that point. That was some good dancing. They just need to stay on there and they get control.
It doesn't stop them, but...
Doesn't, but yeah, that was some good dancing by Bronze. Some good soldier fire coming in off of God's left flank. 2:11 left for God, 2:46 now on T5's timer as they have control. That's a fully charged. Yeah, and they've got an Uber ready to rock. Dark Lino about to have one as well for Group of Drunks. That is, of course, a crits there by Shriek Farms.
Takes the demo and medic down.
And what he just knocked out was their Uber-ready medic, so that was a dropped Uber over on Group of Drunks. That helps, as T5's now ahead on the timer. 2 minutes.
GOD is trickling out a little much here. And so letting T5, who was fully up and in position, just kind of to mow down 1 or 2 at a time.
Can never get complacent on a map like this. This type of close range, you have to move as a group or you're dead ducks. And there we see a Group of Drunks Uber coming out on Siegfried.
They sneak the Uber down the end.
And that leads to a big attack.
And use it to get a cap. Nice work there by GOD. Recovering from trickling in a little too much and getting the whole team together.
Minute 35 remains on Tater Tots for the timer. Minute 55 now for Group of Drunks and counting. They have control.
You see that crits heavy coming out the left side. Not able to, doesn't seem any red players to use.
The crits heavy was popped a little too early and gets taken down by Fingolfin without a crits.
Yeah, he didn't have anybody to shoot at, and he was lower. Not able to get enough damage on Fingolfin.
Fing doing a nice job of waiting and hiding back there until they have the advantage, and then he gets the kill. Big Earn coming out to snipe on behalf of T5.
Yeah.
Getting blown apart.
Seems very, like he's been, not that he himself is frustrated, but that his opponents have been frustrated. He's not been able to get in position. He's just taking damage. There's
been some good work by Jim Beam and Jesus Faction to get around the corners and lay some serious explosives down, which will really impair the abilities of the support classes to move into positions they need.
Yeah, and we see an Uber Fingolfin going up the right side for red. Cleans it up and is now headed back to the middle. However, he runs into a crit heavy who does take him down.
Both heavies down.
As well as his medic. Meanwhile, the crits Jesus section comes in.
Ignition ends in 30 seconds.
He is obviously getting wrapped.
Threatening at center, but not able to put together a combined push. The engineer, Crimson Shooting Star, dancing around on it, but he's on fire and burns to death while his gun covers him. Sparky hiding there. They need to get on this point, and they need to get there now.
Ignition ends in 10 seconds. 5,
Times like this, you can't be worried about staying alive. You need to worry about keeping the objective covered. They're very close there. They might be able to cap it back in overtime. They do.
They do. They have a slight man advantage. A bunch of people later for GOD went down.
They need to stay alive and hold on to this point. They really could use this evener here. It would help them.
GOD's fully up here. I would expect to see we'll see a push now.
Especially Umori at 90% Uber. Troop Farms at 90, but he's using a crits. There's the Uber on the center. He's sharing it among several. That's going to get the cap.
And we are just about at the halfway point. 10 minutes to go.
This is a very even match. We don't see anybody pulling way ahead as time has gone on. Jesus Faction not quite at the monstrous advantage he was before, but still leading the whole team. Leading the whole pack for both teams. Go right on board with Maple Man here as he bonks his way behind the lines. Getting air blasted.
Yeah.
Good work by Dammits to keep him out, though he does still circle around. He gets taken down by Bronze Fox. Now with Umoria, using a standard medigun, 2/3 of the way to an Uber for GOD.
Neither team able to get quite control of the middle just yet here. A lot of players up on both sides.
Uber is ready for Umoria and also for Darklino. 2 full Ubers on Group of Drunks right now. 1 for Shroot Farm. Shroot uses it, but it's a crits Krieg against a proper Uber. That will never win.
No, not without a really great escape.
The Group of Drunks takes the point. 2 people up for T5.
As usual, key for the Kritzkrieg, you need to use before they get their Uber. If the opposing team is running a regular Uber charge.
Agreed. I would really love to see a standard Uber going on over on T5 right now, help them out. I haven't seen one from them. I don't know if I've seen one yet this game, certainly not in a while.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with the decision to use crits. They just need to plan to get in position and use it immediately after getting it to avoid what just happened to them.
The medics over on Group of Drunks, since the start at least, doing a very good job staying alive. Maple Man is behind them.
There we go. Immediate use, but runs right into a sticky trap. Does people
and as I say that, Umoria dies.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
can't beat. A lot of players traded here. A lot of carnage in the middle.
KK pops her crits. Has to use it on an engineer shotgun, and the shotgun wasn't even full. Ouch, that hurts. But they do have a little sentry up, and they are still scrapping for the center. About a minute and a half left on Group of Drunks' timer.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
Maple hopes to get most of the cap in before getting fragged. The rest of the team comes in, finishes it off. T5 has control. Minute 19 on GOD. Spy in play. Bronze Fox gone from scout to spy now.
Always good to change it up.
We have seen a lot of that as well. Scout to spy. Scout to spy seems to be the usual combination most of these teams have used each week.
With these 9-player teams, it is easy for teams to adjust to those harassing, annoying classes. They do always get to swap out to a different one and take advantage of what they're not paying attention to at the moment. And 1 minute of cap time left here for GOD to go up 3. If they can manage it to just 2:32 for T5. 6 minutes to go in the match. a win out here would pretty much put the round in favor of GOD, so T5's got to find a way to gather themselves and get this cap back.
Maple Man looking for that spy. He just heard decloak here.
Our control point is being captured.
Spy, of course, like Scout, something you can have two of. You can have two of anything except for engineers and heavies this year. I believe we did very briefly see a team with two spies at one point last week. Wedge went spy and joined one of his joined one of his colleagues on Badlands just for a minute or so towards the end of a round. It's an interesting thing. Haven't seen it much in Ville Cup play in my life.
I'm not sure that was entirely intentional.
No, T5 on the point here as it hits overtime.
Clears GOD down to 2 up. Moonray spawns
they've got it.
3. However, T-Up only has 4. I'm guessing we'll see GOD, and they respawn
GOD spawns as a wave.
earlier. Big spawn wave there.
T5 needs to get out here and hold on for dear life, hold on to this point, because T5's going to show up in force. Dark Lino, who survived, has a full Uber for Group of Drunks. That could be critical here.
Full Twitch gear looks like.
Yeah, sure is.
Jesus Faction goes down to a quick sticky. Shifts to the medic, it looks like. Right, shifts to the medic. Doesn't get anyone. Damn it, sneaks in.
T5 doing a good job staying alive throughout that. They need to watch their back against the Pyro there. Damn it's tearing them up. Gets shot down.
Not able to kill KK.
KK gets a sandwich from Pink Bandit, stays alive. T5 keeps on fighting.
They do. They've knocked their time down to 1:35 left. Pink Bandit has run out of ammo. Cleans up some down sentry or dispenser pieces.
Damn, it's a fall to death, something that happens sometimes when you get these gigantic explosion damages.
Looks like
KK, Uber ready. Memoriam pops a normal Uber. And there's a normal Uber as well. KK has switched to normal Uber, and they have a better one here. They need to watch the spy. Bronze Fox right behind, gets a stab on Pink. And there's a win for Group of Drunks.
3-0 with 3 to play. That should push this round squarely in GOD's column, as there's not enough time for T5 to cap 3 times. Maybe not even enough time for them to cap once. There is not.
I believe there's 5 seconds too few, yeah.
Yep.
That point available 3 seconds after the 3-minute mark. So this one's for the glory. A little bit of perhaps tactical
no
study.
team can cap here, so as usual with sportsmanship, they will fight it out. But no one can score, unfortunately.
There we see a crits coming off the side from T5, off T5's left flank. They run into a full Uber from Group of Drunks. And GOD has a second one in the hole, ready to go. A crits, that is.
Ooh. Shoot gets a Uberson Siegfried. Pushing his Uber charge right up to 66.
Damn, it's the Pyro scouting around out front there. Sees a big push coming on the left. Fires a couple shotgun shots as a warning. And pulls back, waiting for the Uber so that you can push. There's the push. Good air blasting. And the extinguisher against Snidely.
Yep, some change up over on T5 already. KK's going Pyro. Rumple went to Medic at some point during the match since KK had started at Medic.
Yeah, KK was a medic on that beginning of this push, so she just switched over. She is, of course, also a very good pyro, usually known as KK Pyro. She is using a stock flamethrower, which is an interesting choice. As a pyro, I have to say, there are not a lot of times I would use a stock.
Our control point is being captured.
Pretty much for afterburn, or if you never switch your weapon.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a sure sign you are not dealing with an extinguisher pyro. This is a pure damage weapon.
Alert. The control point. Alert. The control point is being contested.
Bingo just shooting everybody up there in the middle.
Yeah.
Alert. The control point is being
Still
captured.
staying alive, despite harassment by Maple Man and a dozen others.
Now, it's like a kung fu movie here. If everybody's gonna run in one at a time, Heavy can take them down.
And time expires. So
Good match,
that
everybody.
leaves
Go
Group
ahead
of
and
Drunks with a
switch
3-0
colors,
lead
then we'll
on
take
this half.
5-minute halftime. Switch colors, then halftime.
So JOD's guaranteed at minimum a share of first place here.
Give them hell, boys!
That's a fact. I don't offhand have their scores, but I can do some real quick addition here.
Time may have more caps.
Time has got 21 cumulative points. Group of Drunks has 20, including this match. So even if they don't win this match, if they get 2 points, they'll stay in the lead. If they get 1 point, it would be a pure tie. And if they were to lose in a shutout, Time would move into the lead overall.
So big match coming up here.
Yeah, this is a match to determine the leader at the halfway point. This is week 3 of 5 plus 1 for the final.
Now with T5 here, I think it's going to be interesting to see if they change up their Uber strategy. I think they may want to rethink running those Kritzkriegs. I saw they switched to 1 Uber. If they're not able to get out and use the Kritzkrieg early, I'm going to hope they go and, if they're going to have to hold them for a while, hold the Uber so that they can use it and live. They had a lot of instances where they ran into a full Uber charge on the other side, and the Kritz wasn't able to be used as effectively as it could have been.
Agreed, and Flash has just pointed out an interesting point in terms of the tie breaks to me, that head-to-head record is actually before total points 4 as far as final tiebreakers. The match between Time and Group of Drunks is in the last week on CP Furnace RC. So if these two teams manage to keep this going up close, we might see a real interesting final week match.
Absolutely, I'll be looking forward to that.
The last match of the last week of regular play between the two teams that are likely to find themselves, or that we know are going to be in the lead after this week. There are all sorts of interesting scoring possibilities being brought up right now. So many dependent on this round coming up, but also just with that victory that Time got earlier to bring themselves right into the mix at the top spots. Depending how 32X does, the final round of the final day could also be a win-or-go-home situation for both Group of Drunks and Time if they keep up their current winning ways through the next week. Also after this, we've got, let's see, we've got the Ville Cup and Cakes versus HL3. Cup and Cakes manages to get a couple of wins. They could put themselves into contention as well. This is very much anybody's game still.
Oh, there's absolutely no reason we couldn't see major changeovers at this point.
Both teams just popped their ready. I don't know if that was a deliberate start to the round, but they are underway now.
I believe they have the go-ahead to go, so they are going.
Alright, I missed that, my apologies, but camera is live in time, so we are seeing everybody coming out to action. Group of Drunks coming out, getting that initial control, sacrificing a couple people, but taking the center point. So critical on a King of the Hill map to be the first ones to have possession. There's an Uber from T5 coming out of their right flank. Runs into an Uber from GOD. GOD Uber's going to be better. T5 knows it. They pull back to get out of the way of it and let it burn off.
Yeah, they're pushed back there.
That was a good hold by Siegfried and Eumoria to make sure they were able to push them back. Hearing a spy stab, Unforgiven taking out Bigger in there. Bigger and trying to snipe.
Just kind of grouped up here at the bottom of those steps. That's a dangerous place to have a lot of players because it's real easy for demos to slam into it.
Probably trying to wait on KK's Uber to be ready, but they're going to get jumped. Siegfried comes in with an Uber from Eumoria. They annihilate that little area. Only a minute left on the clock for Group of Drunks.
In 60 seconds.
Group of Drunks coming out with a dominant performance so far in the first round of the second half here. Interesting move by Rumpelnose Dimple there. Get a little sentry behind the enemy line. Don't know if it'll last or not, but it's certainly going to be a distraction for a moment. And Siegfried takes it down.
30 seconds.
It feels like the Ubers might be getting popped just a hair early over on T5. They're coming into my view from the center with almost nothing left on them. I'm not hearing a lot of shots before they're out.
Yeah, I think they're afraid of they don't want to drop. So.
T5 getting on the center though with 1 second left on GOD's clock. T5 has taken control.
And now we'll see if they can return the favor after letting GOD hold for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Can they do the same?
Certainly
Or
possible.
rather do that +1.
Yeah. Unfor with a stab on Shroot Farms takes out the medic.
Alert. Our control point is being captured. Capture the control point. Victory.
And there's going to be time up GOD with another win here. That's the first win of the second half. Or I should say cap rather than win. First cap of the second half.
GOD's looking really good again.
Nice long-range bonk there. Well, we do see Unforgiven getting behind the enemy line.
3, 2, 1. Control point enabled. Let's go in.
A whole bunch of kills there with this Cookie Launcher.
Another stab against Shroot Farms by Unforgiven. That is just devastating. Takes out a demo as well in the form of Snidely. T5 does take the middle first, though. That's important. If they can move forward and hold on to this, they'll be in a reasonable position to try and take a round. Hearing a full Uber ready, that's Umoria with an Uber ready. KK also has one almost there. And she pops it. She's going to have the slightly better one if she can stay with her patient. Use the Uber on the Pyro there. Greg H, Pyroing. And of course an Uber Pyro, dangerous against players. Allows GOD to come in and take the point. Whoa, big crit sticky there from JF. That's 4 people with a single detonation. He just took out Shroot, Crimson, Snidely, and Pink. Oh, that's 5, and Big Earn.
Warms your heart as the demo.
More than 50% of the team killed by a single crit. That's probably the biggest single frag we've seen so far in this year's Cup. Quite impressive. Looks like T5 trying to come out their right-hand side, but they run straight into an Uber from Siegfried and Umoria, which takes out 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, GOD's kind of pushed all the way into their spawn.
They have GOD has got just a conveyor belt of Ubers going on. The 2 medics trading off using them. Darklino now has his fully charged.
Mission ends in 60 seconds.
There's crits. Lucky some random crits there for Pink. As she and Shroot walk up the side there. Spy coming behind, gets a stab on Snidely. Not quite able to get the medic. The demo walked in front of it by mistake and saved the medic in the process.
Mission ends in 30
Umoria's
seconds.
just gotten his Uber.
Looks like T5 on the point could do a cap, but nope. That's the Uber you just mentioned being used to defend the point.
Mission ends in 10 seconds.
Definitely seeing some effective pyro play from both teams in this game. Using that air blast to keep Ubers away and to get people off the point when needed. Now in overtime, God just needs to run down the cap, which they're about to do, and they'll have point number 2.
Yeah, and with nobody near the point, GOD wins.
Got
a second
11
support.
minutes left.
So enough time for T5 to turn things around, but they need to take one and win it.
We sure do. We notice in the overtime section there, the post-cap section, Greg H. is using a maul, which of course acts like a home wrecker, so he is playing with that to help protect an engineer. You don't see an engineer on their team, however, so that is not a good weapon choice normally. Hasn't hurt the team at all so far, but you want to make sure you're using a good anti-personnel weapon if you're not defending an engie.
Control point enabled.
Yep, and we're seeing T5 lose 2 players right off the camp here. GUD takes the point early.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
Alpha
Nice
Panda
teamwork
here,
there by GUD.
chasing down the medic. That's a long, hard job to do it, but Alpha Panda takes down Shriek Farms. Memoria has a 100% Uber, as does Darklino. GOD handily in command at the moment.
Yeah, and you heard it called out by Snidely. There's the second medic for T5. I don't know what the mix-up was, but they were, with only one medic, going to have a hard time getting out of their spawn, honestly.
See the Uber deployed there. Unfor gets lit on fire but is extinguished by a friendly. Able to keep on going.
Crits have to be pushed out for T5.
Oh, Darklin in an interesting place there, keeping his scout healed from behind the lines, manages to escort the scout back out to safety. Nice little bit of work with Bronze Fox.
It was a really nice sneak in by Bronze Fox. They had a nice... T5 had a big group together, but they were not prepared to get flanked by the scout, and it hurt their numbers a little bit there.
Crits deployed by Darklino to try and defend the center point. Looks like T5's still going to take control, though. 47 seconds on GOD's clock.
Our control point is
They are already back on the mid. Shroot Farms at 94%, stranded for a moment, has a full crits Krieg. Not anybody to use it on, is pulling back to spawn. See, CSS using a battalion's backup, I believe that is.
He loves the Black Ops.
ends in 30 seconds.
Has always preferred it as a soldier. Likes to be able to heal himself and not depend on a medic.
A useful skill, especially if you're playing the long leash soldier. Can't always be near the medics, so gotta take care of yourself when you can.
He also uses the battalion's backup, and I'm not sure if I've seen him deploy it tonight.
I feel like I've heard the sound a couple times, but other than that, to be honest, he's not always been in a great spot to be able to use it. GOD taking second point with 6:36 left.
You do need to stay alive long enough to get it filled up, since it depends on your damage.
I'm sorry,
Which
that's
is
a third
change.
point.
He had another change in this week's changes, that the battalion's backup charges now off of damage instead of damage taken.
Perhaps a more workable solution for soldiers rewards good play instead of somewhat questionable play, but big mechanic difference to get used to, that's for sure.
4, 3, 2,
Stab from Unforgiven on Pink Bandit. takes out the T5 Heavy right off the...
We have captured the control point.
JD showing control again.
They're just moving
They're
out here relentlessly,
They're
jumping.
2 players down, but still in control. I mean, they're just intimidating T5 really nicely here.
That they are. Nothing that, they're not doing anything too much different from what we've seen before, but they are really holding on to that opposite side
Alert.
ditch.
Our control point is being captured. We have lost control point.
T5 taking control of the mid.
They do, but they're only 4 players up, so we gotta be careful here.
Pink checking for spies. Unfor is having a hard time. He's stuck between a pyro and a hard place, but he manages to stay alive for the moment. Using a standard watch, so he can't just wait around, and that pyro has spotted him.
Alert. Alert. Our control point is being captured.
Icicle Turret puts him out for a moment. He has to retreat with no knife. GOD now working on trying to take the point back.
They are them. Unfortunately, Damit's pushed Pink Bandit into a bunch of his teammates.
Unfor gets a stab on a medic. Ouch. T5 needs to get up there and just stand on this point as much as they can.
Sure
Obviously,
that was
Uber at the
Pink.
moment. But they just need to
Teamed
stay
up.
on the point. Easy to do considering that they started on the other sides. There's T5 popping an Uber to stay alive on the center. With minute 30 on T5's clock, GOD takes control in the mid again.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
Mono with 65% on his crit rate.
The control point is being captured.
Nice swap from Jesus actually for some stickies and managed to get one of the medics down.
Alert.
Evening it up, minute 30 each side. GOD now slightly ahead on the clocks.
Yeah, they just pushed a crit spree with Jesus section again. Took down several players. Moria's milking his Uber here, trying to save it for when they need it.
The Moria has, 100% Uber ready to rock on the Truth here, Metagun. Darklino back to 75 on his crits creed. Shroot with 56 for T5. And it looks like Big Earn is at 100%.
Mission ends in 30
That 100% was
seconds.
on a crits. They are rolling up to center with Pink. And it's going to run into a standard.
Stick here, though.
Like you said before, you really have to time those crits so that they hit not Ubers.
Yeah.
But at least they were able to follow up with the proper Uber of their own.
In that case, the GOD Uber then popped on the far side. They weren't able to block it, really. They kind of went around each other.
Let's see. So T5 had an opportunity to get on there and try and push this a little farther into OT, but 7 of the 9 get knocked down. And God is just running down the cap here.
Yeah, barring a miracle here, this point will go.
That'll
to
be
GOD and functionally end the game.
1 minute remaining, so yeah, that's going to be the final score, but we do have another minute of scrapping for the glory.
super impressed by GOD tonight.
I think it's fair to say that they've surprised a lot of people in this cup. They came out here and they have just been unstoppable. They really work as a team phenomenally. They concentrate their fire well, they pull back when they need to, and they've come out on top in every single match they've played.
Absolutely. I think they're seeing that a lot of strong skill there. Players like Siegfried, Jesus Faction, Ron's in there that are just... They're doing a great job picking their spot, and staying alive, getting a lot of kills, making room for everybody else to play well.
That's a fact, and I think that's, as the round ends 4-0, I think that's one of the things that
Good
really
match,
tells
everybody.
you a
Thank
great
you for
player
the sportsmanship and playing the whole thing
is
out.
that
We'll see you all next weekend.
A good player will get a high score, while a great player lets their teammate get high scores. And we're seeing some great work by the entire team on GOD there, making sure their team is moving as a group, scoring as a group, and completing things as a group.
So, with that match, that means GOD is in sole possession of first place, both on wins and on cap points.